Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your 12-month forecast, beginning your birthday this year until your birthday of next year. It's 12 months out, so from whenever the reading is done for 12 months, and this is the one that I have set up for you. I do all of the astrology signs on the month of their birthday, so I've got this one set up for you. And the card I have in the center is the card that represents Aquarius in the tarot deck. It's the star card. It's all about having hope and inspiration and looking forward to the possibilities in your future. And if you look in this card, she's got 1 foot on the earth and 1 foot in the water. She's pouring water into the water. She's pouring water into the earth. It's all about sustenance and growth, inspiration. Aquarius are people who are highly intuitive, and they listen to their own intuition and do their own thing. They're not going to, more than they would listen to anybody else. They really listen to their own intuition and march to the beat of their own drum. And that's the card that represents Aquarius in the tarot deck. So over here is the overarching theme for this year, for 2018, going into the early few months of 2019. And the Seven of Cups is all about all of your options, having a lot of different options and a lot of different choices. Negatively, for some of you, it could be illusions or delusions. But I'm going to say overall positively, for Aquarius, it's going to be a year of opportunity for you. Lots of opportunities for you this year. Now, what I've done with this reading is I've laid it out like in a natal chart in a circular fashion. Natal charts are done in a circle, and they're divided into 12 sections, like pie slices. And each pie slice is a different house of the natal chart, and each house within the natal chart represents a different aspect of your own personality and what's going on for you for the year. So then I dealt out my cards, and I have one card that represents something going on within that area of your life for the upcoming 12 months. So we'll start with this card here, and this is the card that represents your outward personality and how others see you, and this is Temperance. Other people will see you as somebody who's very balanced, very even-keeled. There's no highs and there's no lows. You're very dependable. And as a moderator, where you are the person they're going to come to when they need healing within their own relationships. You might be the person that comes in between two people and helps bring them together. You're kind of the moderator, helping them with their own relationships and with their own friendships and partnerships. And you're the one that they're going to turn to because you're very balanced and very even-keeled. There's no drama in you. There's no drama in your life. You're the person they're going to come to for your advice and helping them to heal their own relationships. So that's how you will be seen this year by others. This one represents your second house, which is your earned income, your possessions, and your wealth. And this card represents putting your past behind you, moving on. So for some of you, you may literally be moving to a new location, moving your possessions to a new location, to a new home, moving your earned income, your job, moving to a new job. So where you earn your income is in a new location, putting your old job behind you and moving on to a new job, moving your possessions to a new home. Moving your wealth from one financial institution from another. This is all about movement, and it's also about any difficulties that you may have had with your income, with your possessions, with your wealth. It's putting that behind you. Any difficulties that you may have had in the past, it's putting that behind you and moving on to a better, brighter future, which is represented here also in the star card. It's the hope for a better future, and that's what's indicated here for you in terms of your income and your wealth. The third house, this is the card for the third house, which represents your siblings and your neighbors, short trips and your primary education, your elementary education. So this is the people within your immediate environment around you. And again, this is moving on. So if this is the card that represents your neighbors, this would indicate some of you moving out of your neighborhood, moving to a new neighborhood where you have new neighbors. It could be moving away. For those of you that have siblings, if you've lived in the same town all your lives, this could be an indication of you moving to a new location, moving away from your siblings, moving away from your neighbors, taking short trips. So this is also about traveling. And this is, putting your past behind you and traveling. So there's definitely movement for some of you this year, many of you, I would say. Those cards are very prominent. Those cards of moving are very prominent in the chart. This is the 4th house, which represents your home, your family, your ancestry, your traditions, and this is happiness. So it's all about a happy home. It's happiness, it's success and achievement, it's a happy family. And regarding your home, regarding your family traditions, there's a lot of happiness with you at home this year with your family. And this one is your 5th house, which is the house of pleasure. It's the things we love. It's the things we love. It can have to do with your children, entertainment, and this is the Knight of Pentacles. So this is taking action financially for your children. Maybe doing whatever you need to do for your children. If you're taking action, if you're moving to a new location because you want your children to go to a better school, or you're moving to be closer to your children. Maybe you're just moving to be closer to them. For some of you that have grown children and you want to live closer to them. But it's all about taking action. It's all about long-term goals. It could have to do with investing money for those of you with young children that are still in school and investing money for their college education once they graduate high school. It could be you making plans and making goals to help them with any college tuition. I'm getting intuition and tuition confused here. College tuition. So this is all about long-term goals, working steadily towards long-term goals, long-term financial goals with your children. And that's what's indicated here. It's also long-term goals towards things we love. So it has to do with investing your money for your retirement so that you can enjoy yourself in your retirement and do the things that you love. It could be about making investments in areas with things that you enjoy doing, with any kind of hobbies or activities that you enjoy doing. And this is making investments in those kinds of things. So that's what's indicated here. Then this card is your 6th house, which is your work and your health. And there's either conflicts or there's competition or both. So in terms of work, you may have a lot of competition, but this is the card, remember, that indicates there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you. So you may have a lot of competition, but if the economy picks up and their jobs are plenty and there's more competition, then there's more opportunities for you and where to go. And so there may be competition, there may be some conflicts at work for some of you. And in regards to your health, there may be some conflicts with your health, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you for your sense of healing and things that you can do to heal yourself. Actions that you can take to heal yourself. Now, this one is your 7th house, which represents partnerships, marriage, teamwork. And this is the High Priestess. So this is spiritual but not religious. So for me, this represents those of you who have partners but you're choosing not to get married, or you have non-traditional partnerships. It's kind of like it's outside of the mainstream religion. So it's partnerships, relationships, marriages that are not forged within traditional church. So these would be non-traditional partnerships, non-traditional marriages. This is spiritual but not religious. This is the card about spiritual but not religious. So it's maybe a marriage, a spiritual union that's not a legal contract or a legal document, but in your hearts and spiritually, you have made a commitment to each other. And that's what could be reflected here in this High Priestess. Now, it could also mean meeting people. For those of you who have spiritual practices, whatever that is for you, whether that's Reiki or past life regression or any kind of spiritual work, spiritual teaching, spiritual learning, taking any kinds of classes, learning about astrology, numerology, palmistry, anything that's not part of the traditional religion or traditional spirituality. So when I say traditional religion, I'm really referring to traditional spirituality and the traditional church. So it would be those, those non-traditional spiritual practices, and perhaps meeting somebody, meeting a partner, meeting a potential spouse, doing those kinds of practices. Because this year is all about opportunity and options. There's going to be a lot of people available to you, a lot of opportunities for work, a lot of opportunities in love, just a lot of opportunities for you this year. It's going to be a really good year for you. I think it's going to be a really good year for a lot of us. Now, unfortunately, this one came up. This is a house that represents, it's a lot of different things, but it does represent death. So some of you may experience a death of some kind this year that could break your heart. This is the broken heart. And this falls in the house that represents death and other people's money, inheritance. It's also about sex, and it's also about your psychic abilities. So this could indicate a heartbreak with, it could be a heartbreak with a partnership if it's falling in this house of sex. But in terms of other people's money and inheritance, if there's some kind of heartbreak regarding money that should be coming to you and you're not going to get it this year, that's, this Three of Swords is about a heartbreak, and it's regarding any of those things. Death, inheritance, other people's money, the lottery would fall in there. So for some of you, it might not be a good year. I'm going to get one more card there, because that house covers so many different topics. And the King of Cups came up, which the King of Cups, for some of you, it could be somebody who's a water sign, which would be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So I don't know if this broken heart is regarding this person. I'll leave it at that. And then this next house is the 9th house, which represents your long distance travel, your spirituality, your religious practices, your philosophy, and your higher education. So this goes back to what I was just saying here about meeting somebody within your spiritual practices, because here's the Lover's card showing up in the 9th house, which governs your spirituality. So for some of you, you definitely might meet somebody through your spiritual practices. You might also meet a lover on vacation. If you're doing some long distance travel for your vacation, you may meet somebody there. Others of you might be traveling long distances to meet your lover. Maybe you meet somebody online and then you're traveling long distances to go meet that person in person. So long distance travel would be involved with this person because you're traveling long distances to be able to be with them, to be with them physically. Now this is your 10th house, which is your career and public recognition. It's the Hierophant. So the Hierophant has to do with any traditional institution with your career. So this could be banking, it could be religion, it could be insurance, it could be government or law. It's, if you think of the traditional institutions that govern our society, that's what this would be. And think of large institutions that have been around for hundreds of years, or 100 years, So any kind of telecommunications for companies that have been around for a really long time. So this is traditional work right here. And this is showing up in your house of career and public recognition. Now the Hierophant also is the card that represents marriage. So again, for some of you, you might meet somebody at work within your career. That would be a potential spouse for you. And that's what's reflected there. This is your 11th house, which is about your friends and different organizations or societies that you might belong to. And here's the Queen of Pentacles. So this is about financial prosperity. It could be somebody who's an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. This is somebody who's kind of got some leadership skills. So you may be the kind of person that would be in charge of the money. If you work in government or law or politics or any of those institutions I just mentioned. Any kind of insurance, education, the field of education. And this could be you being in charge of the money within those institutions or any kind of organizations. So you would be in charge of the money. If it's in terms of education, you could be in charge of the money in the school district or in charge of, even if it's a parent-teacher organization where you're the secretary and you're in charge of the money. So this is all about you being in charge of the money in any of those kinds of organizations that you may belong to or any of these traditional institutions here. But it's about societies, organizations, and it's about your friends. And, you know, you could be the person that's in charge of the money for your homeowners association, for in your local government, within the school district, any kind of organization, being in charge of the money. Now, this is the 12th house, which is about all things hidden. It's also about different institutions where there's confinement, any kinds of confinement within these institutions. So it would be things like mental institutions, it would be prisons, maybe hospitals, things like convents, or even children who are in orphanages. So they're kind of like confined within these institutions. And it's also about things that are hidden. So this is looking out to the future. This is waiting. So for some of you, if you were involved in those institutions, this is waiting for your chance to get out. Waiting for your chance to get out. So that's just a message for some of you that are confined. You know, even if you're confined at home, where your health in some way is keeping you at home. You know, if I look at your health in terms of conflicts, if these conflicts within your mind are some kind of a social anxiety and you don't like to go out very much and you're confined within your house because of these conflicts within yourself. So this is looking forward to you know, the day when you're able to get better and get out into the real world. So this is about looking out into the world, but not really participating in it. It's waiting. It's waiting for that day when you can actually be free of whatever institution you're in. And for those of you, if you're in a hospital setting because of you're recovering from an illness or recovering from an accident, or for those of you that are confined for things like for those of you who might have going through chemotherapy treatments for cancer or any kind of health issues, anything where you're confined. And this is looking out towards eventually being able to be free and to be free of that illness, be free of that confinement, and to go out into the world, which is really indicated right here. For some of you, yes, you're definitely going to get out and go out into the world. It's going to be a good year, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for a lot of you this year. So there you go, Aquarius. Thanks for watching, and please like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. I have watched so many tarot card readers, and I don't subscribe, and because they keep popping up in my news feed, and I think, well, they'll be there, and then now I've lost some of them. I don't know how to get back to them because I don't really know who they were. So please subscribe and like my video, and thanks for watching. Take care. God bless.